Fellow Gen Xers, do you ever think back on all the wild, spontaneous, ridiculous things we used to do and just feel kind of exhausted? We Gen Xers were latchkey legends, mixtape magicians, mall rats, and unfazed rebels, and that was all so thrilling and adventurous, but now, they just sound like a recipe for regret and needing a nap. Back in the day, I was up to some true hijinks, shenanigans even, but now, all I really want is an elastic waistband and some ibuprofen for my back. So here are 10 things we Gen Xers once thought were exciting, but now just make us feel kind of tired, deeply tired, in our bones. Number 1, clubbing till sunrise. Remember staying out all night and still going to work the next morning like nothing happened? We seem to have boundless energy, dancing till literal dawn in the most unsensible shoes possible to both CNC Music Factory and CC Peniston. Double C's were very hot in the 90s. But now, I may be on the millennial-adjacent tail end of Gen X that's still technically in the bloom of youth, but if I stay out late, I need 3 to 5 business days to recover and a chiropractic house call. I recently got a hangover from a single margarita. I will not be doing any partying like a rock star, and turn that music down. Number 2, spontaneous road trips. Remember hopping in a car with no plans, no GPS, and probably next to no gas, and just hitting the open road? We'd grab our giant CD binders and those adapters that plugged your tape deck into your Discman, and the adventure was on, baby. But now, I need to know when the car had its last oil change, I need an itinerary that gets us out the door before rush hour, and the minute the Google Maps route changes from green to yellow or God forbid red, I'm out, drop me off, I'm calling an Uber. And most important of all, what's the pillow and mattress situation at the hotel? Because see, I've got this neck thing and also acid reflux, so I might need to fill the trunk with my pillows from home. Can you let me... No, seriously, it's urgent. Number 3, sweaty, standing room only concerts. Oh, to be young and wild and free again. Back in the day, I'd attend packed concerts in tiny venues with no rules. Everyone packed in like sardines in violation of fire codes, covered in sweat, and the bathrooms? God help you if you had to use those. These kinds of shows were an event, the epitome of a good time, and resulted in so many stories, and you could not pay me to go to one nowadays. I was even offered a standing room only spot to my favorite artist of all time's Grammy performance a few years ago that included a meet and greet, and I turned it down. Why? Because I'm not doing that. My knees hurt. Go away. And speaking of which, number 4, waiting in long lines for movie premieres and album releases. Now, of course, these basically no longer exist in today's world, but even if they did, I'm not going. This, in my opinion, is why God invented the internet. But back in the day, lining up at midnight for a new album drop so I could be the first person to get my hands on the CD, man, I'd pick out an outfit for that and everything. Remember when Jurassic Park came out? We got there hours early to make sure we got good seats, because this was before the era of assigned movie seats. If you procrastinated, you sat in the front row. That was it. But now, well, physical music basically isn't a thing. And as for the movies, when you younger generations learn how to act in a movie theater and maybe put your phone down for 90 minutes, I might think about going back to the movies. Until then, I'll be at the 11 a.m. showing with your grandma, maybe. Number 5, hanging out at the mall all day. I genuinely miss the mall. Spencer Gifts, Musicland, flirting with cuties at the Orange Julius. This was peak teenage fun. The mall actually had stores back then, more stores than you could imagine in your wildest dreams. But of course the internet has all but killed that, and now you just sit on a website and fill a cart with things you hope and pray will actually fit. They don't, by the way, we checked. And if you live somewhere that does still have an actual functional mall that's not a decaying cocoon of weird kiosks and storefronts taken over by MLMs, it's probably super crowded, full of people. Ew. Number 6, talking on the phone for hours. We'd lie on the floor, cords stretched from the living room into our bedroom so we could talk behind closed doors, chatting about absolutely nothing with our friends in a 3-hour conversation. It was how we solved our problems, caught up on all the hot goss at school, or just passed the time. Now if my phone rings, I immediately hurl it into the wall and then sweep the debris into the lit fireplace. Do not call me, ever. Most meetings could be an email, and most phone calls could be a text. Unless you have gossip about that one girl from high school we both still hate, in which case, call me immediately. Number 7, keeping up with trends. Jordans, Girbauds, knowing every word to Ice Ice Baby. Back in the day, we knew all of the hot happening trends, and we did whatever we could to show that we were part of the in crowd. Because back then, we basically lived in a monoculture, so being cool, that was an act of survival. If not, you were left behind. like a loser. Now though, if it's not soft, functional, or on sale, I don't care. And I don't know what any of those words you're saying mean, and I'm not interested in whatever viral TikTok song you're into. I already got Huey Lewis and the News album on. Just leave me here to happily age out of trends in peace. Number 8, burning the candle at both ends. I'll sleep when I'm dead used to be a whole vibe. I pulled all-nighters frequently in college and still somehow managed to stay awake long enough to take the test the next day and get an A. We've already talked about clubbing all night and work. Baby, I used to be on my grind. But now, well, we Gen Xers have grown up and learned the importance of a good night's sleep, and a full 8 hours is non-negotiable. We've seen the effects of burnout, and frankly, we're not interested, whether it's for work, fun, or otherwise. Good night. Number 9, surviving without Wi-Fi and cell phones. Now, to be clear, if and when the proverbial you-know-what hits the proverbial fan, we Gen Xers, along with the oldest millennials, will be just fine. We were grown up enough before all this newfangled technology took over that we know how to do basically everything in an analog way. However, going back to the days where if you can't think of the name of that actor, you have to just be left wondering, perhaps for months on end, Nope, I'm not doing that. Not by choice, anyway. I mean, there is something to be said for not having everything at your fingertips. Things used to be more special. Your favorite video popping up on MTV was exciting. Now you just bring it up whenever you want on YouTube. Or getting a random catch-up call from an old friend. That was touching and exciting. Now, we're in each other's palms all day, every day, whether we want to be or not. Still, having to use an actual physical map to drive places? What am I, a pioneer in a buckboard wagon? Get out of here, but fire up Waze before you go. And finally, number 10, rebelling. We used to try so hard to stand out with ripped jeans, bad attitudes, and fighting the man, though we could certainly use a lot more of the last one nowadays. Now, as technically an exennial, my era was skater kids and the hippie burnout types, undercuts and baggy jeans and piercings. The JCPenney chinos my mom bought me sadly could never. But now we're all adults, and we've learned to embrace who we are. My personal biggest act of rebellion is ignoring the no U-turn sign and eating cheese even though I know I'm lactose intolerant. We Gen Xers were wild and scrappy and had zero supervision and basically ran feral for our entire formative years. And it was honestly glorious. But now, well, we're tired. We're in our 40s and 50s and we've kind of earned a rest. But don't worry, we'll always be cool. At least to each other. Be sure to like and subscribe and drop a comment below if you've traded bar hopping for back pain. I see you. I am you. Do you happen to have any ibuprofen in your purse?